So let's see another example of functions and how this is simplifying your program. Let's assume that we have a program. We want to write a program which will accept two values, which will add those two values, and it will display the result of those addition, right? So what you can do in the main function, right? You just call these three functions: accept, add, display. Don't worry about the 17th and 18th and 19th line as of now. Accept, add, display. This looks pretty simple. That you want to first accept the values, then you want to add those values, and then you want to display the result. Because all these things are different things. Understand in a technically programming way. As of now, you are writing just two lines of code, three lines of code, or 10 lines of code, right, for a function. But in real project, it may be 50 lines of code or 100 lines of code for each code block, or for accepting multiple values, doing a lot of calculation, not just adding the values, right? So in that way, understand that you're accepting the value, you can keep it separate from doing the calculation, which is adding the value, let's say, and then just displaying the result, right? It's like this. You can keep all the things separated. So here in this particular program, what we are doing is we are declaring some variables. Okay, at line number 7, if you see, we have declared some uh, variables here, and then we are calling accept value, this one, correct? And then if you see here in the accept value, we are doing just accept value part. Okay, what we are doing here, we are saying that enter the value of A, enter the value of B, and you know randomly so this is the way line number 31 and 32 is to um, get a particular character from the user at the runtime. Okay, don't worry about it. As of now, let's understand we are taking the value of A and B. Simple. This is the accept value. So this will do its own task and it will come back to 15th line. When we will execute it, 14th line, whenever it will get executed, it will actually jump to 24th line. So it will do all the things from 24th line to 32nd line. It will come back to the 15th line once the task is done of the accept values. So you're putting all A, B, and D into a particular, um, you know, order. You got it. Then if you see here, once the acceptance is done, we are calling add values. So add value will do simply C is equals to A plus B, nothing. It will just add. That means we want to keep the calculation part separated from accepting the value or displaying the values. Calculation is pretty much arithmetic thing, let's say. So you want to keep it separate, right? So you want to add the values. Fine. Then it will be done, and then you are calling display results. So in the display result, you want to display that addition is whatever C, alphabet which you entered is D, something like that. And that's it. Why I have written this multiplication is I just want to show that every function is independent. Every function is independent on its own. So you create a function and you can call it multiple times. That's why I just have created it. Okay. So this time, if we will run this program, it is asking me the value of A. I'll say 4. It is asking me value of 2. Let's say I'll provide 70. And it is asking enter one alphabet. So I'll say, let's say Q. Enter. It's saying addition is 74. Alphabet was Q. And forget about this 20. This is happening because we called this multiplication function 3 times, and it is doing just multiplication of 5 and 4 and printing it. Okay. But let's go through this program again. The objective of this program was accepting two values, add those values, display the result. Okay, using the function, and you have to modularize your program by understanding what are the things I'm doing in my programs. So basic blocks are accepting, doing the calculation, displaying the thing. All these things you can do without creating function also. In the main, if I'll write all these things, this accept part, this one, I can have this all in main function itself. I don't have to create function then. The separate function like accept value, display, and add. Why we are doing it? Because it is simplifying the things, as well as in future, if you want to change anything on a particular line of code, it will be easier for you. If you want to change only for the acceptance part, you will go to this particular code block and change it, right? It's like this. If you want to change anything on the display part, you will go to a particular line and say, okay, addition, I don't want to use equal to sign. I want to print like colon, not equal to sign. So you can change your program where it is required. But if you write it in, without function, it will be difficult for you to find out where you want to change, right? Where was your program? As of now, it is just 50 line of code, but in real project, it will be 5,000 lines of code. So if you will write it without function, it will be difficult to find out and difficult to change at how many places you want to change and all. It will be very difficult. Okay? That's why keeping it through functions, it's easy. It will do its own task and it will come back to the next line. It's like this. More things about the functions, about returning the values, calling the functions in different way, calling the one functions from another function. That we will do in next session.